live
Hey,
with Dr. Stephanie Ardrey.
Welcome to Money and Mindset with the doctors, Dr. Money and Dr. Storey. Hey, Dr. TG, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Great. It looks like we're both in our favorite places. So you're out in Santa Barbara, and guess where I am?
Yes, you're in Jamaica. Jamaica man.
What love. Yes, definitely. So I'm so excited for the show today. We are talking about one of our favorite topics, which definitely includes both money and mindset. So I can't wait to get into that topic. But how you feeling this morning?
I am feeling great. I want you to know you're on a little delay. So in case as we talk, you're on a little delay, but hopefully it'll. So I'm going to slow down a bit as I talk to make sure that it comes through. And I am feeling great because I'm in my favorite place, which is Santa Barbara. And I tried to put a little light back there. I may switch around a little bit because the lighting's not so great, but it's wonderful. The beach, the ocean's actually up. So I couldn't walk on the beach right now unless I go way down. But it's beautiful. And of course, I see the beautiful blue skies in Jamaica. How are you?
Oh my gosh, I am in St. Thomas Parish. I'm basically on what they call the South Coast. And so this is a different part. South Coast. And what's the city? What's the area? We're in
St. Thomas.
We're in St. Thomas?
St. Thomas.
Okay.
Live.
Not live.
Sea is your background.
So the sea is my background. This is the other side of the island. We didn't get a chance to visit here when we were in town before, but I can't wait until you come back because you're gonna love it.
I can tell. Just, I mean, the blue skies and the warm water. That's what I love. That's it for me. That makes a wonderful day.
Look, I have to tease you a little bit. Look at the ocean coming in. You see the water hitting the rocks?
Yes.
It's like, oh my goodness, exactly. So believe it or not, we are doing something for Black history that we call Black.
What's happening for Black History Month? What's happening for Black History Month?
That's Black in Jamaica, which is a virtual conference and concert on the last Saturday of February 27th. It'll be an all-day virtual show.
February 27th. I'm turning this because my lighting is just terrible. Okay, there we go. February 27th.
Okay. Oh, I see you better. Yes, you're right. That helps. Yes.
Tell us a little bit about what happens on February 27th.
Coming up.
What time, what date, all of it. What's the news?
Absolutely. So basically from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern time, it's going to be an all-day conference that's going to address empowerment, education, and entertainment. And we're going to have not only local Jamaican artists, but we're also bringing in Thyonne Gordon, who's going to kick off his performance from his song Black, which also kind of resonated with the theme of Black in Jamaica, absolutely. And then we're going to have the fabulous Dr. Aubrey Oliver talking about holistic health and wellness. I'm going to do a segment, of course, on Dr. Money, Get in the Bag with Dr. Money. Dr. TG, you know we've already thrown you in on empowerment and so that you can drop nuggets on creating the story. You got to have the story doctor on there, along with some additional exciting guests and presenters. So it's going to be a day filled with, and we're going to socially distance. So we're going to do it all and follow all the right protocol. How about that?
I love it. And you know, Kid Colder, I was one of the first ones to put him on stage.
So what do you think?
I'm excited about that.
You might be frozen on me over there.
You're frozen on my end. I'm not frozen. So we got to see what's going on here. But can you hear?
All right, there we go. Are you there?
Okay,
yeah,
great.
Now.
Your screen is frozen right now on my end, but that's okay.
Yours is again?
Yes, I said I'm excited because I was one of the first people to put Kid Colder on a stage. And so
yes,
I'm happy about that.
Exactly. And so, absolutely. Well, Mama Bear has to be back involved in all of this whole stuff and make it happen. So it wouldn't be any other way without you and without putting that youngster back out there.
That's right. So it'll be great to see him all grown up.
Activity.
Yes, yes.
On his next activity. But it brings us to our topic of today when we talk about creative investment opportunities and being able to build on relationships. And we're talking about the importance of having even that right mindset. So why don't you run us back through our earlier chat about how we set up these relationships, but more importantly, how we set up our mindset to be prepared to build those relationships.
Yes, we've been talking about wanting to bring this topic up. People always want to know, how do you get the money? How do you get people to invest in you and to invest in your ideas? Well, it's all about mindset and money and how they relate to each other. So today we want to talk a little bit about some of the things you need to do, some of the things you need to have, some of the ways you need to be in order to attract investors and money to you. And number one is having the right type of mindset. We always start with mindset, getting ourselves grounded, making sure we're centered, knowing who you are, knowing what your product or service is, knowing how to tell other people that product or service. And a lot of times you'll hear people say, what's your elevator pitch? The elevator pitch is the thing that you would say to an investor, to that person who has money or a donor, if you were stuck in the elevator with them for 30 seconds. What is the elevator pitch? Your elevator pitch tells what your idea is, what your product or service is within a 60-second window. 60 seconds may not seem like a long time. That's just 1 minute, right? 60 seconds is a lifetime. It's a very, very long time. And so you should be prepared with a message about what your business is or what your business does or who you are. In the mindset routine, you have to know who you are. Who you are is really why you are. Why do you do the things that you do? Why are you invested in the product or the service that you're invested in? What's your why? What's that big picture for you? I happen to love storytelling. I learned storytelling from my grandfather, from my grandmother who was a dreamer, from my mother who was a dreamer. And I heard stories my entire life through family members. And so I love the art of storytelling. I also love servicing and appreciating business people, people who have that drive to want to get up and go and do their next thing. And so I created Beyond Story to take people beyond their story.
All right.
Dr. Money is back. So we've just been talking about understanding your why in order to know who you are, Dr. Money. And I shared that I love storytelling. I love it because of my family roots. And that's why I engage people in their businesses and in sharing their story through the art of storytelling. So the number one thing you have to do is know who you are being in yourself. What is your why?
Let me see if I get a little bit closer to the internet, if that improves.
I can hear you, but you're frozen still. So we're going to just
keep how's that?
This is much better. Okay.
Absolutely.
So once we know our why,
I'm closer to
great.
Right.
You're still frozen a bit, so I'm going to keep going, and you can talk, and I'll see if I hear you. Once you know your why, you then want to know your what. What is it that you're doing with that why? So you know your why, and you want to know your what. What is the service you offer? What are the things that you're doing? And from there, you can start figuring out when you want to approach someone, how you want to approach someone, and all of those type of things. Remember, when you approach somebody, you don't just approach any old body. I mean, you can't just say, oh my gosh, this person's going to love my idea, and so I am going to jump in and just tell them my idea. Now, you need to get to know people. So investing in relationships, building relationships, networking, talking with people, getting them to know who you are, who you're being, what your why is, and then understanding what your what is. So you want to take it away, Dr. Money?
Absolutely. It's so true, because so often people come to me and they want capital. And they think, because I know all these investors, that it's as simple as me just sporting their business, and that the investors are going to magically open up their checkbook and invest in their business. And the investors are like, especially coming from me. They're like, Steph, did you underwrite the deal? And it's like, whoa, wait a minute. If I've got to underwrite the deal, how be compensated? I'm not a securities broker, so I can't charge a percentage of the raise. I have to be compensated because it's my business, right? And anytime I use my time, my billable hours. But more importantly, even if I did send an email to the client, their bottom line is they don't know you.
So Dr. Money,
So
I'm going to stop you there. I want to stop you because you're going in and out. Can you hear?
You on the street and says, hey, I've got this great business idea. I need you to write me a check for $100 million.
Dr. Money, can you hear me? Dr. Money, can you hear me? Because you are breaking up. You're breaking up pretty bad where we can't understand what you're saying. So the sentences aren't coming out. I think your Wi-Fi connection is not as strong wherever you are.
I don't know you from Adam. I wouldn't write you a check for $5 to be honest with you, much less $100 million. We have to build the relationship, because if I'm going to trust you with my money, I expect your work to be interested.
Dr. Money, can you hear me now? Can you hear? Okay, if you can hear me, we are hearing every other word. And so we're hearing every other word. So I think we're going to have to end this connection and pretty much just let everybody know your why. Know your why. That's who you are. Who are you being? Know your what. What is it that you're offering? And then know your people. Know your people. Get to know people. Have relationships with people. And get involved in networking. Build up what it is you do. Know your little 30-second pitch, 60-second pitch, so that you can begin to build relationships and get money. I'm Dr. Thyonne, the Storey Genius. Some people call me Dr. Storey, Dr. Thyonne, Dr. Storey, whichever way you want to do it. And we have been on Money and Mindset with Dr. Money, who just popped back up again.
So can you hear me now? It looks like everything is perfect. I got closer.
Okay, so now it's much better. I was actually just closing out, saying we're closing out because we aren't having a good connection today, and it's been a little choppy and bad. But we talked about the why, who we are, know who you are, who you're being, the what is your service or your product that you're offering, and how do you pitch that in a way that people would resonate with you. And a lot of that is about with them. What's in it for me? A lot of people want to know what's in it for them. And
right,
so
that's exactly what the investors want to know.
Exactly.
Right.
And as Dr. Money was sharing, she was saying, how could she introduce you to someone who you don't even know if you're not ready?
Exactly. You can't walk. That's like walking up to a stranger and saying, hey, invest in me. And the stranger is saying, I don't know who you are. Why would I invest in you? Who are you? You know, that's the same thing that the bank says. Imagine walking into the bank and asking the loan officer for $1 million loan. Do you know what they're going to make you do? They're going to make you give all kind of collateral. They're going to look for everything but your next born in order to back up that, to make sure that you're not going to take the money and skip the country. So why?
Guess what? They're probably going to call the police if you go in asking for $1 million with no kind of collateral, no appointment, and no agenda.
Pretty much. You're going to be looked at really strange, right? They push that little silent button and suddenly the bank is surrounded. Yes, absolutely. So I know, you know, it's kind of touch and go with the connection from Jamaica, but I just can't resist wanting to be at the ocean and share all that awesomeness with everyone. You know, I feel like I got to share it with you. So outside of technical difficulties, understand we're coming to you with love and still going to deliver everything that we can, right? But what I was saying is that the importance of relationships. Many people last year, the last few years, probably about 3 or 4 years ago, that they heard about a film investor, Charles King, hitting the market and raising an insane amount of capital to launch his business. And Charles King was known as an agent. He was a talent agent with one of the major agencies. But when you hear him talk about why he was able to secure that capital, he will go back and tell you that he invested for 10 years in building those relationships long before he ever went to market with launching his company. Long before he ever went to market with launching his company, he built relationships that then, as he became closer to that point of launching the business, those relationships now knew who he was intimately and were willing to make an investment because they felt like he was someone they had relationship with. And so it's the same thing with any other entrepreneur seeking to raise capital. You have to, like they say, build the bridge before you need it. Build a relationship before you need it. And so it's rule of thumb. Most angel investors will say, if you come to me and you ask me for my money, I'm going to give you advice. If you come to me and ask me for advice, eventually I might give you my money. There's a distinct difference there, because by you coming to me and asking for advice, one, you've demonstrated that you're coachable. And that's one of the big issues that investors want to know, because anybody that's been in business over any period of time, we know that business plans fail. They fail more times than they succeed. And especially when you're creating something that's new and innovative, the probability of failure is great. But what the investor is investing in is the team. That's why it's so important to have an A team. Because what investors know is if I have an A team, even if the product is a C product, an A team knows how to manipulate and reposition, pivot, and listen to what the market says to bring that product to market. You could have an A product, but if you have a C team, the C team is not as skilled. So investors are, as they often say, they're betting on the jockey, not the horse. And so you need to understand that. And those are kind of some of the things that I see missing oftentimes in people's presentation. And you and I talked about having a ready to go elevator pitch, but making sure that that elevator pitch speaks to with them. The investor is not in love with your product. They want to know what's in it for them. So Dr. Chi, did you talk about that? What's in it for them? That's what they want to know about.
That was one of the last points we made, and all of what you just said ties right back into understanding who you are, why you are. When you mentioned Charles King, he knew the market that he was in. He understood his service. He understood his product. A lot of us get involved in something, and if it doesn't quite work, and most of the time, innovators, your things don't work in the very beginning, then we want to give up.
Right.
Well, you don't give up. You got to stick with it. And people need to know what you stand for. What is that why? Why are you out there in the marketplace trying to do your business? Why is it that you're doing it? So once you understand your why, you really are understanding your essence. You understand who you are when you know your why in this game. And when you can walk that and build relationships around that, people then know who you are. People come to me for certain things. Nobody comes to me saying, solve this math problem. That's not me. Nobody comes to me for science books or anything like that. But if you want to build a story around something, if you want to build a brand, if you want to start your business, if you want your nonprofit to be successful, if you want something to be successful, people come to me. They come to me for success activities, for success resources. And they know that the resources I connect with are other successful resources. And so that is how you build who you are. You got to know your why of what you do, why you do it. Connect people, helping to build brands and stories. Others know that. They can count on me for that. Now, once you understand that and others begin to understand it, that's you building relationships. So now you're building these relationships and people are like, I know I can count on this person for this. I can count on this person for that. So as you build those relationships, as Dr. Money said, people will bet on you. I bet you she could do that. Now, if they saw me in a science contest, they'd be like, I don't think she can do that good in that. If they saw Dr. Money in a science contest judging the bugs of the day, they'd be like, no, I'm not betting on that at all because she can't be around no bug, not one bug. So,
oh my God, don't even talk about bugs. They're already only been back to town and they're like, oh my God, her and these bugs.
I had to because I already knew that. But you have to, people know you for what you are and who you are. And that's how you build those relationships so that they'll bet on you. Now, the other thing you said, Dr. Money, that I think is so important, I was just speaking with a team of people working on an entrepreneurial contest, and it was going to be an entrepreneurial pitch contest. One of the big things that the entrepreneurs are asking, because we say, bring your team, and we have to know who your team is, and the team can be 2 or more. And so many people are saying, can we enter if it's just a solo? And we were discussing this last night. So I'm glad you brought up the fact that the investors bet on a team.
Yes.
Having a partner, having somebody that you can do this with is an asset. Yes. A lot of times we think, I can only count on myself. I have to do it my way. There's always an asset to having another perception in the room, another way of thinking in the room, another skill set in the room. I don't mind having somebody who can deal with science and bugs and math and all that kind of stuff, because now they're going to complement the things that I don't do.
Right.
Find partners who complement you. They don't have to be just like you. People that do different things than you do. Because that way you build a team where you can say, now I know you know me and you know I'm really good at this, but wait till you meet Dr. Money. I'm going to make sure the mindset is right with everybody. But wait till you meet Dr. Money. She's going to make sure their money is right. Now that's a team.
Absolutely.
That's how you can work together and get an investor to say, well, gosh, I realized that if you had somebody who really just handled the money part, then this really could be a home run. Find your team person who's in the game with you and bring that person along so you can build relationships, because it's not just you. It doesn't have to just be you. And then finally, what's in it for me? The WIFM. WIFM is important because it's not just what's in it for me, but the person that you're asking wants to know, so what's in it for me? Why would I do this? Think about your own relationships. When someone asks you to do something, you're thinking in the back of your head, how's this going to benefit me or my family? If I do this, how is it going to hurt me or my family?
Absolutely.
So investors are also looking to mitigate risk. You don't want to lose what they have already. They're like, shoot, I put my little chips in order, and you asking me to take one of my chips and throw it in on a blackjack table.
Right.
Now, if you're really that good at blackjack, you got an algorithm that works. I might bet once or twice. But what I really want is a surefire thing. Maybe I'll buy the table, knowing that people are going to keep playing blackjack. Maybe I'm going to bet on the player, but not the player, but the game.
Yes.
So we have to understand what's in it for me on the investor side. When you're pitching your ideas, you always want to let people know this is why it's a benefit for whoever it is that you're pitching it to. Back to you, Dr. Money.
That's so true. That's what they want to know, that they're doing a risk assessment, right? They're calculating. That's why the first thing that an investor says, send me your executive summary and send me your financials. And in that, in summary, I want to know who's on your team. And so something else that you mentioned about, having a co-founder, but also don't sleep on building an advisory board of experts that represent the areas of competency that may be initially lacking in your organization. Go as far as anticipating. We all understand that there might be people that you can't bring on your team until you are funded, but go through the process of identifying who some of those people are and the roles that you would have them fulfill in the organization and how you plan to onboard them. And so when an investor understands that, then they understand that there's more than you, because no one wants to see you go out there. You're the brains behind the organization. What happens if you get hit by a bus tomorrow? There goes their investment. There goes the business idea. So if it's all on you, then frankly, we haven't created a business yet. A business needs to function. If I'm missing tomorrow, what I know, Dr. Chi, money and mindset will keep on pushing. You'll add another co-host and you'll keep it pushing and go on forward, right? That's the idea of building something, building a brand, building an opportunity. You build something that's sustainable and that will continue to exist long beyond your years or your involvement with that particular activity. And so you asked me a question. I'm kind of go back and close with this thought. I told you that, oh my gosh, I'm here. We thought the February 27th concert and conference was off the table. And just in a conversation, when we realized our why, and our why being to find a way to do a fundraiser to create some resources for the farmers here in Jamaica, as well as to begin to seed a microfund to assist them going forward, that why overruled the lack of so-called time, right? In theory, this had developed because I thought about it back in October, but lo and behold, here it is manifested. And, in less than 24 hours, you got people committed, location set up, and activities going forward. And that's about relationship, right? There are people who say, listen, I get it. This is going out to the world. And the world doesn't have to see us sweat. We're going to put it on as if we spent a whole year planning it. And it's going to become an annual event because our why is so clear. The benefit for the farmers is so critical at this time that that's enough to help us overcome any potential obstacle. So don't forget, everybody, it's going to be virtual Black in Jamaica last Saturday of the month, Saturday, February 27th, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern time. You don't want to miss it. For more information, go to 420wellnessjamaica.com. We're going to have information posted there on the website as well. And those of you who are fans and tuning in to Money and Mindset, don't forget to mark your calendar. We are here every Tuesday morning, 9 a.m. Pacific time. And I think I'll be coming in from Jamaica for a few more weeks, maybe a few more months, right?
Never know with Dr. Money, maybe a few more months.
Some folks have been hinting that they're going to show me a mountain to entice me to want to build a house, which means that I may not be coming back anytime soon.
Oh my gosh, start the building. Start the building.
Start the building.
Thanks everybody for joining us, and make sure that you know your why. Know who you are. Know your why, and that will tell people why you do the services that you do. Know your what. What is that product or service that you're offering? What's in it for the other person? What's in it for me? Well, know your whip 'em. Know the whip 'em for that other person. And finally, know that your networking and relationships are what builds those opportunity for you to receive money.
Absolutely. Well, with that, we want to thank you, everyone. Thank you for riding with us through the technical difficulties. And guess what? We will see you again next week, same time, same place. All right? So signing out. Mindset with the doctors.
Have a great money mindset day.
All right. Take care, y'all.
Brilliant.